It's time to drop knowledge. Your Access All Areas panel begins now. Moderated by your AAA resident,
Anna Marie.
Can we have a round of applause for our resident moderator, Anna Marie, please? Come on, you can do better. Come on.
Thank you very much. How are we feeling? Are we good? Are we all right? Good. Okay, yes. Welcome to the seminar part of today. Today we're talking about entrepreneurship and alternative careers in the industry. Do we have any entrepreneurs or alternative people in the
Hopefully.
can raise a show of hands? Okay. Yeah, everybody. Yeah, everyone is. Which is great, which is really, really great to see. So we have a jam-packed panel. Everyone has got many years on them in the industry, so we've got a lot of knowledge for you. And hopefully you take some notes and you learn some things, and it's going to be great. Okay, so starting to my left, we have Eve Horn, who is an award-winning creative mentor and advisor. She's also the founder of Peak Music UK and the Unheard campaign, which demands quality for women in the music industry. Can we make some noise, please? Next, we have Uncle Ade, who is multifaceted creative. He's a consultant, a vocal coach, lecturer, mentor, director of All Star Music Group. Can we make some noise for Uncle Ade, please? Next, we have Tasha Demi, who's a marketing executive, over 10 years experience in the game. In 2020, she launched her award-winning marketing agency, 22 Agency, alongside Whitney Asomani. Make some noise, please. And next, we have Charisse Beaumont, who is... She's got a lot. I'm really looking forward to speak to you because we've got a lot to talk about. But she's also the CEO of Black Lives in Music. Can we make some noise? We have Chris Hunt, who also has 10 years in the music industry, sports, and wider entertainment. He's the founder and CEO of Audition, which is a company that specializes in commercial opportunities for people across music, sports, and television. Round of applause. And last but not least, we have Nisha Sharma, who is a celebrity stylist, a creative director, over 10 years in the game. Some of her previous clients include Backrow G, Sean Paul, Krebs and Conan. Yes. KSI, just to name a few. Round of applause. Okay, great. So a really diverse panel, but a lot of you are founders and just industry leaders, I guess. Really confident and have just taken your own stride in doing whatever it is that is important to you. So first question, we'll go left to right. Right to left. Tell us about yourself and what you do and how you landed your role.
Okay, hi everyone, and first of all, yes, props for coming. My name's Eve Horn. I've been in the industry for around 20 years. I started at the Brit School when I was 13, and it first opened and got signed to Polydor from there, and then EMI as a singer, and was lucky enough to travel the world. Then after that, came back to UK, studied sound engineering, was one of only 6 women in the whole year, only one of colour. That was 20 years ago, hence why I started my academy, I was going to say, that's coming soon, my campaign. So, yeah, I'm a singer-songwriter producer, very passionate about equality, very passionate about production and songwriting, teaching and mentoring, and making sure people like yourselves know how amazing they are and know that they can do anything that they set their mind to. It is a mindset, it's a choice. You can do it, and I am basically putting myself in a position to make sure that is my passion and my goal until I die.
Love that. Ade, on to you.
When you introduced me, you forgot to say Liverpool supporter, by the way.
Oh, so Liverpool supporter.
Arsenal.
Absolutely will not say that.
Arsenal.
Yeah, I'm Arsenal.
Arsenal,
By
yes.
default, but
Yes.
like not really. But yes.
I am as well. I'm from Woolwich.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's where they originate. Sorry, we're talking about Arsenal.
Yeah. This is just a much better team. Anyway,
Yeah, isn't
continue.
Okay, so my name is Uncle Ade. I am a career educator. I am a music manager. Have managed Grammy Award winners, coached MOBA award winners, Heady award winners, blah, 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 blah. I always say we don't celebrate the awards, we celebrate the excellence, because that's what it's all about. I am also currently the Senior Vice President for Groove Up, which is a brand new platform designed to offer independent artists infrastructure and access to finance with all of the key communities, which is an amazing project which I'm really excited about. And as part of that, we also provide education about not just the industry, but about how to manage and make your money grow. So it's a really important project. And I am very happy to be here amongst such esteemed panelists.
Love it. Thank you. Tasha, on to you.
Hi guys, I'm Tasha. I've worked in music for over 10 years now. I started years and years ago blogging when blogging wasn't even a thing you can make money from. So I started blogging about music just because I enjoyed music and I wanted to write about it. And I think I've done every work experience you can possibly do, all the free work you can possibly do. Started, I guess, my official work in music. I had an internship at Box TV, which is the company that looks after all the music channels that you know and love. Worked there for a year. Moved on to working for MTV on the Europe Music Awards. Worked on that award show for about 3 or 4 years, which was amazing. And then started off my journey in record labels. Started as a temp for 2 weeks, and then it was 3 weeks, and then it was 4 weeks, and then just didn't leave the building basically at Universal. Worked my way through the system at Universal Music. And then I was headhunted from there to go to Sony. So my record label journey, I've worked across a ton of talent. I've worked with Travis Scott, Future, H, Steph London, like Retry 2, a ton of names. And then from there, I decided to take a chance, quit my job in 2020, decided to go freelance, always wanted to work for myself, didn't know in what capacity.
Sorry, I don't know the answer to that one.
Siri is trying to take my spotlight.
Siri, shut up.
Basically, quit my job in 2020, wanted to work for myself, didn't know how I could, if I'd make money. Lockdown hit 6 weeks later. I was like, oh my God, the time I actually take a chance on myself, the world shuts down, not just London, the entire world. And actually, that was when 22 agency was born. So 22 is a marketing and creative agency run by myself and Whitney Asamani. And we look after everything from 360 marketing campaigns, events, gifting, activations, socials, digital, etc., etc. And yeah, it's been 2 years, and it's been amazing so far.
Well done, love that. Charisse.
Hi, I'm Charisse Beaumont. I am Chief Exec at Black Lives in Music. My journey in music has been quite diverse. I studied music like a lot of people back in the day, because I'm super old. And no, I probably am.
This is not a competition.
It's a competition. I got you. Went to the University of Westminster, like a lot of people. And unfortunately, whilst I was there, I realised that applying for work experience, applying for jobs, there was no inroads for someone like me, and I always knew I was gifted in music in terms of my business acumen, but there was no, no opportunities and access for someone that looked like me, a black woman. So I dropped out of uni, and I started a business in mobile phones, completely left music, and Nokia days, by the way, Motorola, you know, 5110. Who knows about the 5110? Yeah. And I made a lot of money. Yes. And then I was able to write my own narrative. Yes. And I created my own record label and management company. Managed artists from both the US and the UK. Saw our music go to the top of the Billboard charts in America. Saw toured the world, won Grammys. And I guess despite what I was being told about myself as a black woman, I outdone myself every time. And unfortunately had a bit of a family tragedy, took some time out of music whilst I was there. Taking time out, I decided to actually have a family and do something with my life and have some children. And I was headhunted by help musicians to sit on their board. Whilst I was sitting on the board, at the time they were prioritizing jazz and classical music. So sitting on the board, I came from the world of hip hop, so I was just like, what is this? I don't see no access and opportunities for people that look like us, like me. What's going on here? And then George Floyd happened. And they were like, what do we do? And I created a business case and started Black Lives in Music. And what Black Lives in Music does, we advocate, we use research and data to advocate for black musicians and people of colour in the music industry. We work across the music industry. We work with major labels, DSPs, festivals, orchestras, conservatoires, the entire music industry to create inroads for black people, people of colour, to ensure that there's a level playing field. And right now we're quite successful. We're doing very, very, very well. So I'm hoping that life can be like that, but I'm sure there is something for you, because there was definitely something for me. So that's my journey.
Chris.
So yeah, yeah, I've got to try to beat that.
Good luck.
No pressure.
Yeah, so my name's Chris. I run a company called Edition. So what we do, we create and manage commercial opportunities for people in music, sports, and Hollywood. So licensing, product launches. So a bit about my background. So I was managing Grammy Award-winning producers, songwriters. So I played songs with like Chris Brown to a Trey Songz to a James Arthur to a Neo. I've also worked on label sides, sort of co-founding teams across joint ventures in Sony and Warner, and I've done different brand consultancy projects with like Beats by Dre, Ciroc, Nike and JD Sports and other brands as well. So at the moment, at Edition, we have clients like, so I manage the whole global IP and trademark for Destiny's Child. We work with like Jermaine Dupri, H, Doja Cat, and various other sort of people in America particularly. So, yeah, that's a bit about me.
Whoop, whoop. Thank you. And Nisha.
Okay, is this on? Yeah?
Yeah.
I actually, initially, I did study fashion. I dropped out, ended up working in music for about 8-9 years. I specialise in promoting like hip hop and reggae in the days of vinyl, mailing out vinyl, like going way back. And then I ended up being an artist called Mark Morrison, his PA. I done loads of stuff. I worked at club doors, promoting clubs. I ran a street team. I did loads of stuff in music. And to be fair, that was actually my passion. But unfortunately, I couldn't seem to get into like a label in the way I wanted to. But I was kind of known for how I like dressed and my style, and people were always like, love how you dress, love how you dress, love how you dress. And then I fell in, like when I was working for Mark Morrison, he had a girl group signed to Warner's, and they came to the office and they were like, we love how you dress, we see you every week. And so that was the beginning of styling. I actually didn't start styling until I was like 30, so I started quite late, yeah. And then I actually, yeah, it was kind of crap because I was like working as an assistant, but like, you know, I made the decision, okay, I'm going to go for it, but working for really crap money. But what I'm trying to explain is, you know, you can start at any point, really. And I made the decision. I was like, okay, I'm going to go for it. I assisted for like 2 years and went off on my own. I'll be honest, first 5 years were horrific. And then since then, it's been good. I've worked with everyone over the years, like Lamar, Big Brothers, Wiley, Skepta, Krypton Conan, Lethal Bizzle, Back Road G, I don't know, KSR. I mean, I could go on and on. I forget. But yeah, literally everyone. And recently I've started doing a bit of video directing as well, and that's something I now want to take up as a new challenge. So, yeah.
Great. Our panellists. So a little bit later on, you will have a chance to ask them some questions. So if you do think of anything, just jot it down, and we'll be sure to make sure you have time to answer that. Okay, as I said. So quite a few of you are founders or, you know, have just gone off to do your own things. What would you say was the moment in your life where you were like, okay, I need to do this. I need to leave my job, or whatever it was that you were doing before, and this thing that keeps coming up in my mind or in my heart, wherever, I'm going to pursue this. What was like the catalyst for you? Anyone can jump in. But you can go ahead.
Okay, cool. I was like, is it my turn? So for me, I've always been very driven. From a very young age, I've always known I wanted to be a singer. When I was like 6, just visualized it. Used to have the butterflies in my stomach, and then I could see myself on stage. I knew that's what I wanted. Made that happen, and then didn't like the bit of fame that I got. Hated it actually, and I was like, I still want to be recognised in the industry, and I still want to make money. So, and I've always had a really good ear. So I was like, production, songwriting. So I came home, studied to be a sound engineer. Realised that the money I wanted to make, I'm like, I'm not going to be a runner. I've just paid 20 grand to go to a private university to get 16 grand a year being a runner. I was like, no, don't, right? So I was like, my first thing to you guys is you don't have to go to university. So my first lesson I tell everyone, if it's for you, phenomenal. Mate, sorry. Like, I say it all the time, like, do your stuff in the industry, get in as quick as you can. But, so I think for me, I didn't really have a normal job. There was a point where I became a train driver. Okay. Came out the industry for a minute. Yeah, and then, but that decision I made got me money to secure myself, which was a vital decision at the time, but my soul wasn't into it. But I just think that if you're someone who is working but you're thinking about something else, or you get up in the morning and you go to a job and your job is in the way of your life, that kept happening to me. I was like, this is in the way of what I want to do, it's in the way. And I would find that I would struggle to need to prove myself constantly, if it was emotionally, or if it was, I'm very much about fairness and things like that. And I would find when I worked for someone else that there would always be a problem because of the way something was run. I was a trainer, I was an assessor, I would train a team of 12, but the company weren't acting right. So I was like, I just can't work for someone else, and I have to do it on my own. And like everyone else here has said, the first few years are hard. You know, the first year or so, you're not making any money. Then you're kind of like, right, you're making a bit of money. And then you're working. I work 7 days a week. I work every, and I've got a 3-year-old. And most people here, I'm sure, have children as well. It's just, it's not easy. But am I happy? 100%. Yeah. Totally happy.
That's the main thing. Yeah. That's the main thing. I mean, like, does anyone else want to jump on that? Like, the moment, the catalyst that propelled you into doing what you're currently doing?
I mean, for me, it was a concert. It was Jay-Z 2006 at Wembley Arena. I was so amazed, but you was there as well. Yeah, I was on the seats jumping around. But no, that was a moment where I was so amazed by this industry and thinking about how can I get involved in it. I was so amazed by who pieces together behind the scenes, and you know, I was an entrepreneur from day one, so I didn't get my first full-time music job until 24, 25. Anyway, so it took me a while to sort of push through and get in the industry. So. Yeah, you know, entrepreneurs are the sort of bloodline behind the business anyway, because all the big corporations started with one guy, one entrepreneur, one idea. And without that, there'll be no innovation, no new ideas, no opportunities. So, yeah, entrepreneurs are the bloodline behind us all even being here and us being inspired. So, yeah, that's what.
Why do you think that entrepreneurship is important? And why is it necessary in the current state of our economy?
From my side, I think I came up through record labels, and I'm not dissing labels because they absolutely still have a place in this world, but they do. they operate in a really old school way still, and I feel like one of the reasons we launched our company was to help represent the modern music industry, because we work differently now. Things are different. Back in the day, even when I first started my record label journey, there'd be artists that had been signed for 5 years to develop. You don't ever hear that anymore. There's no such thing, or it's very rare to hear artists developing at record labels now. Now you'll hit 1 million on Grand Daily, you'll get signed, you might get top 40, and then... Do you know what I mean? So from my side, I loved working at labels. Labels taught me so much. By the end of it, I had a lot of personal things going on. I kind of lost myself and was really unhappy at my job. So I knew I had to leave to start my company. But it just felt like I wasn't working in a way that truly reflected the way the industry works, down to their payment systems, their back-end system, everything's really old. And they're companies that have been around for so many years. So it's not a case of they can just switch their computer system tomorrow. They work in a really old way. So I feel like we need young people who live in the culture, work in the culture, understand the culture. I love music. I love music so much. So why aren't we the ones selling it and marketing it and putting it out there?
I think entrepreneurship is quite glamorized in today. Like we see everybody's got a business on social media. I mean, like I have a business too, but it just seems like something that you do. But there's a lot of work, a lot of hard work that goes into building a business before you even launch the business. What are some of the things that you've learned over the years, or some of the challenges that you faced when you were starting out?
So, I mean, like yourself, I just came out of train driving and was like, I need to go back into music. My life, my soul's dead, so I need to find music again. And I was like, I'm going to set up a company. And originally I was doing production workshops for songwriters, because I do both, and they're very different camps. So I was like, I can bridge that gap. And I was running songwriting retreats, and I just got everything set up. I had T-shirts, I had USB sticks. I was like, yeah, we're going to put the metadata stuff on there, and we're going to teach them this, and they're going to get that, and they're going to get so much value. And then bam, it just, COVID hit, and everything that I had in my mind that I was going to run as the business just went. Everything was fine. The songwriting retreat was sold out. The workshops had sold out, but then I had to completely rethink everything. And it was a good thing, because it makes you realize, like, why am I doing this? It's not just for love of music. Like, it's important. I think one thing as an entrepreneur that every single entrepreneur should have is adding value to other people. And I think as an entrepreneur, we need to make sure that, that's something that we're doing. And yeah, totally forgot the question, but
just
add value. Yeah, it's just hard. Any entrepreneur that is out there and is on Insta or on any social media acting like entrepreneurship isn't hard is lying, because it's really, really tough. It's long hours. It's constantly doing stuff for less than your worth. It's constantly grinding and trying to build relationships with people and to stay true to your vision, and try not to get pushed over here or pushed over there. And it's also just making sure that you can live. That's the main thing. Like, being an entrepreneur is like, you need to make sure your basic bills are covered. And then you're talking about the daily mentality that you have to go through when your life is smacking you in the face, left, right, and center, and you've got to somehow pull yourself out of it and be like, I still need to keep doing this, because this is my dream, this is my vision. And there's multiple things happening, right? As an entrepreneur, it's not just, I don't just get up and go to a job every day. There's we could talk for hours, right, about the pains of being an entrepreneur.
Sharice,
but it's real.
Yeah, I live by the sentiment, if that's the right word. You need to serve your apprenticeship and study and show yourself approved. So beyond Instagram and all social media, there's the work that you're putting behind closed doors, and that's studying, learning a landscape about what you're about to go into, what you're about to endeavor. Everyone sees what they want to see on Instagram, but if you want to be a success, you've got to have the right people around you. You've got to study and understand the landscape constantly, which changes and evolves, and it's a lot of work. But if you do that, the chances are you'll become more successful. Having the right people around you is essential. We do it by ourselves at first. No one sees the grind. I remember writing a case study and my kids running around me and my husband complaining, and I'm up 4 or 5 in the morning and my husband's coming through the door like, what are you doing? Well, I'd get to bed. What are you doing? Why are you up? Real talk, real stories. But if I didn't study and understand the landscape of what we're about to go into, I would have been ill prepared. And that's my advice to you. If you're an aspiring rapper, what's the model? What are people doing? What's the business behind it? If you're looking for a manager, who are the best? What's the acumen? What am I looking for a manager? If I'm looking to start a new business, who are my competition? What are they doing? Where's the gap? When you take the time to study, the pathway is easier. So that's my advice. And, sorry, get great people around you. What's the saying that I always say that I can't remember right now? I can't remember the saying. It will come to me randomly in the middle of a point. But there's security when you've got the right people around you. You can bounce off ideas. In a multitude of counsellors, that's great security. In other words, get your counsel. The people that counsel me, some of them are in the music industry and in the space, but then I've got dragons behind me because I need to be able to think outside of the box. Like you were saying, they're archaic. They don't know how to think outside of the box. This is why the industry's thriving on entrepreneurs right now. This is why we're seeing drill go to #1, because it's our mind, not theirs. So my thing is, get great people around you, bounce off ideas, and put the work in.
I love that. Thank you. Ade, did you want to jump on that?
I teach and lecture in entrepreneurship for musicians, and I think it's really hard for musicians, artists to consider themselves to be a business. But I think it's imperative that they do, because otherwise you'll make decisions on the fly as you go along and miss great opportunity. You'll leave money on the table. That's one of my golden rules. Don't leave money on the table. But when I started my first training or music school, if you like, I found it really easy because there wasn't much competition around. All I did was decided I want to run my own vocal academy. I put my ad in The Voice.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know, right? I have my, what do you call those, Motorola 8500. Yes. Now you know about old, right? Don't get me started. And I just had calls for days. I was working on this, I was a scaffolder, and the calls just kept coming and coming and coming and coming and coming. It was really easy. Then the industry's changed. All of a sudden you had The Voice and New Nation. So now I had to spend twice as much money to get the same results. Then you had Choice FM. So now I had to spend 5 times the money or 10 times the money to get the same response. So things have changed, and now the kind of competition that we have now in the industry, because everybody is entrepreneurial, is very, very different. And it means that you really have to study the game, study the economics of it, study the economics of the global economics as well as the industry economics. And I read every day. Anybody here heard of Feedly?
30 minutes a day.
Feedly. No. I read for like 2.5 hours a day, every day. Because you'll see, you can pick your own subjects, and I pick music industry, I pick economics, I pick cryptocurrencies, blah, 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 blah. And they'll just
What was that? Was that Feedly?
Feedly.
Feedly.
And it will just fill your inbox with stories from all around the world. And you get to know everything that is going on. It's essential. Information is king, period. That can't be overstated enough. But my golden rule is that I work on the basis of 33% risk, in the same way that archaic record companies do, right? Yesterday's, today's, and tomorrow's breadwinners. So I must have an entrepreneur. You must have a today's breadwinner. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to focus and concentrate enough to be effective at what you want to be successful at. So making sure that your bills are covered by doing the job that you may not want to do, but only giving it 33% of your time is really important. And then you can build from there onwards. So that's been my golden rule. I broke that over the last 2 years, but I'll thank the pandemic for that. But I managed to survive it, and now in that time period, other opportunities have come my way, and now I'm at the point where what we're going to do at Groove Up is completely change the narrative for independent artists. It will completely change the narrative for independent thinking practitioners, and it will change the way that musicians are able to monetize what they do. And that's all because of the knowledge I've gained over the years, and I've constantly read, constantly been learned. Not because I want to be able to, not because I want to lecture that stuff to people, but because I need to know that for myself in order to make sure I stay ahead of the game. And I've said to some students about 10 years ago. A bunch of students, young, full of energy. I said, if I'm still in the industry in 10 years' time, you're not doing your job because you should be retiring me. I should be irrelevant because of your mindsets. And I'd love to talk to those students again and tell them they're not doing their job because I'm still here. But, or I'm just working harder than everybody else. But that's my thoughts.
I'd one point. I think as well, products. So if you're in any industry, whether it's music or any other industry in the world, having a good product is key. So even if you're a manager managing an artist or an artist yourself, having the music to a high quality. So again, having a good council around you, which isn't yes men or women. You can do a lot with that. So even getting a distribution deal or even getting a record deal. I've got a record deal for artists where they've got no following, but the products are so strong that you get people to come and back you just based off the strength of the products. So whether it's the production, the songwriting, or again a combination of both. So just the last point I want to add on in terms of having a good product. Okay, great.
How would you navigate turning your passion into a career? So we've all spoken about, the moments, the defining moments that you decided to take when you decided to take that step into your new career. But how would you monetize off it? Like, I know you just mentioned products. How do you get support from people when you don't have the funds in the initial stages?
Shall I take this?
Go ahead.
Me personally, I only have just got funding for an academy that I'm going to be launching next month. Other than that, I've found ways to do it myself. So out of nowhere, I was like, what am I good at? I launched my own podcast last year, and then I was like, I can edit podcasts because I produce, and I know how to use Ableton and Logic and Pro Tools, and so I edit vocals all the time. I can use that to my advantage. Now I have about 4 podcast clients, as well as doing my own. I also was like, what else can I do? I'm very good when I talk or in video, but I'm not good at writing emails or things like that, so how can I use that to my advantage? And I started filming myself, teaching people how to use Songwrite or how to use Logic or how to use Ableton. And so I started making videos and uploaded them to a platform called Skillshare, which I was talking to you about earlier. And I would recommend anyone, if you are good at anything and you want to teach, like, it's so simple. I still use my baby's high chair and my iPhone to film myself. Like, it cost me nothing. It just cost me some time. But of the 2 videos that I put up, one was a year. I've got about nearly 4,000 students taking my songwriting class, and my Ableton one is nearly 2,000. And I get, it's obviously they do everything, but it's based on plays per minute. And I get about £500. It varies sometimes, it can be between 3, it can go up to 6, based on one's under an hour long. And the other one's just over an hour. And every single month I get that. I've just finished my 3rd one, Logic. My aim is to do 10 so that I'm getting pure passive income just off that one stream. And even though it takes time, it's worth it, because as an entrepreneur, we were saying earlier, you need that thing because you're doing this and you're doing that, and you want to get yourself a target of how much you need to get an income every month. And then you want to look at your skills and say, how can I monetize on what I can do? I'm great at teaching. I've learned from people saying that, what you do. I've never called myself a teacher, but other people have said, it's the way you do it. So I was like, well, maybe I should use that. I love giving people confidence, and maybe that's what it is that makes me different. And every single one of you has that in you somewhere. You are unique, and it's just about taking the time to look and go, how can I do this? And creating your own content is always, you can always monetize that. Merchandise and products. Anything you do, create merchandise, go and sell it. Social media is free. You just need to keep posting. And I saw an amazing post the other day on socials, and this rapper was going on about people just posting once, and I'm so guilty of this. Have you seen it? It's like, you need to post that same thing 20 times a day, because the percentages of one person seeing that post is so stupid. So you think, I posted it and the world's seen it. No, hardly anyone's seen it. If you want people to buy your stuff, post. If you've only got one testimonial for what you do, post that same testimonial 100 times. in a week if you need to. Just put a different colour background on it. Like, you know what I mean? Not even that, but, you know, it's I guess, thinking outside the box, because it's all there for us. And it's taken me a very long time to realise that, because I'm very old school. I'm like, go into a room, do a hands-on workshop. That's what's going to get me paid. Like, it took me a long time to realise I could actually do other things to get money. So there's a lot out there for you guys to capitalise on. It's just thinking outside the box and knowing every single one of you has a talent and you can give that to people.
Can I add something really quickly?
Go ahead.
One thing I will say, though, is don't stress about making money from the beginning.
Yes.
It took, I'm sure, all of us a long time to get paid. So I was at university. I had a job in retail. When I left university, which no one has ever asked me about my degree to this day, when I was there, I was doing as a work experience. I was also working retail. When I left university, I took my retail job full time. And yeah, it's hard work working full time. When you work 40 hours a week in retail, Christmas periods, etc., it's long. However, what I will tell you, and I will do it all again the same way, every extra moment I had, my lunch break, my 15-minute breaks, the time I went home, my train journey, every spare second I put into music. Whether that was going to shoots, whether that was blogging, whether that was contacting people, whether that was putting my 10,000 hours in and studying. That time, like, even if I was knackered from my shift, I was not tired because music was my everything and it was my passion. And actually, how I knew that really worked for me is when I first got my first job in music, it was an internship. When I left there, I did have a period of maybe about 6 months where I tried to do the freelance thing a little bit way too early in my career, found it really, really hard. And actually, what started out as my passion, being music, then turned into the biggest stress ever because my passion wasn't paying me. I wasn't ready to be paid by my passion yet. So what I will preach to everybody forever is do not try and quit your job tomorrow. Like, it's okay to have a real job. It's also okay to work in music and have a real job forever. Get your money, have 5 different streams of income. I would do it all again. But, like, work, put your 10,000 hours in. You will get paid when you deserve to get paid, when your craft is ready. And, yeah, that's my point.
That's a really good point. I really like that. Yeah, round of applause.
Can I add something to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
About being paid and putting yourself in a position to show your perceived value. I moved from Portsmouth. I grew up in Portsmouth. I moved from Portsmouth to London. I was a scaffolder in those days. And I was a scaffolder in Portsmouth. And when I came to London, I couldn't get any work. And so they'd put adverts in the Evening Standard, I think it was called, every day. And I would phone up for the work, and they say, "What's your name, mate?" And I say, "My name's Addy Boy." And they go, "We ain't got anything at the moment, mate, but if you call us back." And so I sussed out, and I was like, "Okay." And they said, "What's your name?" I said, "My name's Paul Smith, mate." And this is no lie, all right? And so guy says, "Right, mate, meet us at Cheney Walk tomorrow." So I turn up at Cheney Walk on the Saturday. It was a Saturday morning. I'll never forget it. And this guy, the colonel, they called him, he's like, I said, I called up yesterday. My name's Paul. He went, "Okay." I said, "Listen, I'll work for you for a week for free. If I'm no good, at the end of the week, and just say, go up separate ways. But if I'm good at my job, you'll pay me for that week, and then we'll work from there." And I've taken that philosophy with me ever since. When I first started vocal training, I taught people for free. I'm big, like I've got awards behind my clients now. I've started a company in Nigeria 2 years ago, 3 years ago during the pandemic, and again, went back to teaching for free. Because you're teaching in a new environment with new things to learn. And if you go in thinking that you're just going to earn money and make money and not understand the nuances of the market, you'll be very mistaken. So always be prepared to show your worth to people.
Yeah, you have to add
without
value.
thinking about money. Absolutely.
So
I want to go to you, Nisha, as like a stylist. How was it that I feel like with stylists, a lot of stories that I've heard that you don't get paid or you have to like carry things around for long hours. So when did you start, I guess, earning, and how did you go about that, or asking essentially for a fee from your clients?
I mean, you're always going to ask. It's just they don't want to pay. No, like I said, I didn't start. It was weird because obviously when I worked in music and when I was working,
Did you talk into the?
Yeah, when I worked in music, it's really bizarre. Like, so when I did work for Mark Morrison as a PA, I ended up styling this girl group he had that was signed to Warner's. And weirdly, it was really, really well paid because obviously, you know, they were hooking me up and it was just like, oh, what do you want, blah, blah, blah. And to be fair, I don't think Warner's even gave a shit about the girls. They were just like, whatever, keep Mark happy. So that gave me like a false reality because I thought, oh, they gave me like £3,000 to go shopping. I don't get that. I'm not going to get that now for anyone. Like back then, obviously there was loads of money flying around. And they were like, oh yeah, whatever. They couldn't stand the girls. And they basically were like, yeah, well, how much do you want? Here's £3,000, go shopping for them. And I was just like, wow, my God, this is easy. But I didn't really understand how styling worked. And then, so I didn't actually pursue it. I carried on working in music, and then I actually left because I was trying to get a job. I stopped working for Mark because he was just mad. And then it was just awful. Yeah, it just went very, very left. I was really miserable. I was really fed up. And then I ended up, I still was doing, the thing that kind of still kept my foot in the door was I was still doing loads of, I used to be like a door girl, the guest list girl for like lots of clubs. And that kind of still kept my foot in the door of the music. But I did just go and I went back to visual merchandising in retail. And then while I was doing a door for an event, one of the guys that works there was like, oh, you know, my friend's actually a stylist and she's looking for an assistant. Would you be interested? And I was like, yeah, cool, why not, you know? And so I met her, I started assisting her. And yeah, like I said, at this point, I was like nearly 30. And it's, you know, and she was paying me like £50 a day. And that would be, and I'd be doing everything. I mean, I'm never going to knock her. She wasn't a very good stylist, but I'm never going to knock her, but she's... I didn't think so anyway. I didn't like her style. But she was someone that was amazing to learn from. So I'm never going to knock her. And she was very happy to let me do everything, which is also, in a weird way, it really helped me. Because she let me, like, do everything. So, and just literally was like, yeah, email all these people. Like, sometimes you do find, but also I was a really good assistant, I reckon. So, I threw myself into, even though I was getting paid a pittance, I was still working. So I was working on the weekends in retail. I worked part-time with my dad. By working, I mean, that is, I will say the fact that I worked for my dad who, you know, put up with me and allowed me to be so flexible and be like, oh, I can't work this day, I can't work that day, or I've got to shoot this day. You know, it is really, really, really hard, I think, to earn money and get your foot in the door. And if I didn't have that luxury, it would have been really difficult because obviously going to, you know, a store, you know, you can't get to Selfridges and go, oh, look, I've been offered a shoot on Tuesday. Your boss is going to hate you, like how much juggling you're doing. So with my dad, it would be, oh, I can do 2 days next week. I can do 1 day. I can do 4 days. But obviously it's my dad. So he allowed me to be this flexible at this point. And I was getting paid like crap from her, but I was learning and absorbing and, you know, I threw myself in completely. I did everything. Like, and then I stopped working with her and then I went off on my own and yeah, it was grim. It was really, really hard. And then it was just very, very hard. I did a lot of free work, emailing labels, managers, artists. This is before Instagram. So yeah, emailing, calling, incessantly, like with no responses, hardly ever, working for free, feeling like a mug half the time. And then every time I would think, you know what, maybe I should just call it a day. Let me just work with my dad full time and just learn his business and forget this is pointless. I would get a little glimmer of hope. I'd get booked for something and be like, yeah, we've got, you know, £150 for you to kill yourself for like 50 hours and you'd do it. And so it'd always pull you back in. And, you know, I would just say it's so much. It's networking. It's actually doing a good job. It is believing. You do have to really believe in yourself. You know, you've got to dust yourself off every day. People are going to upset you. People are going to mug you off. People are going to treat you like shit or try to treat you like shit. And, you know, I think everyone finds their own, what works for them. You know what I mean? Not everyone's going to be like me and I can't be like you, but you've got to find what works for you. And then I guess, I don't know, like, slowly it just turned. And then, you know, I would say for the last 10, 12 years, I've barely even had to email anyone for a job. So hardly ever. So it's been really, really consistent. So yeah.
Okay, so can I just add to that? Well, she's saying, because I know you were saying £50 isn't a lot, but I was sitting there thinking, if I was 18 and I got to go...
30.
No, I know, but they're not 30,
yeah,
right?
I'm just letting them, you know.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking £50 a day, right, is like not to be sniffed at. Because if you did that 5 days, $250 a week,
But
and then
it
a
doesn't.
month
I
is
mean,
like
I'll
£1
be
grand.
honest. I have assistants. And, you know, I'm actually really, really... I think I'm one of the nicest people to work for. I actually feel really bad not to pay some. I pay everyone.
Yeah. No, you
and if I
should,
can't pay them, I give them free stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, what size are you? I'm going to blag you free clothes, free trainers. I feel really bad.
Yes.
Because I think, you know what? If they work hard, if they're useless, then like, forget it. But if you work... I know how much grafting goes into styling, and so I do want someone to... feel appreciated, but at the same time, you've got to work. You've got to work hard, otherwise I won't.
Thank God for
use you again.
supportive parents. That's what I say.
Yeah.
I would say, I mean, back in the day, like when I came up, when I was like young, so we're going way, way, way back. It was considered like fashion PR and styling was considered like a rich kid's job. Like you'd go to fashion PRs and it's all like Sloaney girls, you know, working PR. You know that was not now. We're going back 20, 30 years ago. Yeah, it's like it was considered like a luxury kind of, you know, a job that rich girls do. Their daddy gives them money and, you know, or it's, you know, people are happy being poor as long as they just have the lifestyle.
Wow.
While we're on the... I'm going to cut you off.
Yeah, go on.
While we're on the topic of music, you know, we hear so many stories of artists going broke and people not being able to manage their money. What are some of the tools or advice that you can give to up-and-coming entrepreneurs on how to manage their money, things like taxes, ways to set themselves up so they don't get robbed by the tax man, basically?
Ways to set themselves up.
Not set themselves up, I mean, prepare them for...
I mean, I could say get a good accountant.
Yes.
So say you sign a deal for like, I don't know, 100K. I mean, probably get the accountant to put you on a salary per month. Have a good team around you, have a good counsel around you. If you've got a good family, they can help you plan stuff out. If you can invest some of the money into maybe a property, then look at that. But yeah, definitely have a good team around you. I think, starts with a good accountant. They can help you set up a limited company. Again, maybe look at a salary where you're not rinsing for your money, you're not buying change from day one. You're just, you know, just taking it bit by bit because it's an unforgiving game. Really unforgiving game. So yeah, that's what I would probably suggest.
I'm just going to rebuttal that. Listen, I mean, I've seen a lot of money, and I'm not saying it in a boast. I've also lost a lot of money because of the chains and, and the cars. And although money can be made again, I just want to encourage you that because we're all entrepreneurs. As you get older, you know, there's ways. Listen.
Yes.
Put your money down. Listen to what your parents have been telling you from the night, you know when. Put your money down. And 100% get an accountant from early.
And I think so. That you need to. So you're not all going to earn money, loads of money straight away. That's just not going to happen. When you start earning money, use percentages. So spend 70% and put 30 away. Use that as a rule. Any money that you put away, act like it does not exist. Act like it don't exist.
50, 30, 20 rule.
Okay.
So 50% goes to my bills.
Yeah.
30% for me to spend. 20% to save.
Yeah.
So
Whatever percentage you use, just
That's my
It is a percentage. I use 10. I 10. I live on 10.
Do you know what? I can do the same.
Yeah.
I can do the
I live
same.
on
I can
10.
just like I can live on so little, but that's only because of the way I've set my life up. Like, I'm lucky I don't have a mortgage. I don't. Yeah. Huh? No, I was looking at me. Yeah.
Actually, with Groove Up, when people are able to achieve investment, what we then do is teach them how to make that money work whilst you're not using it. And I think that's really important for, it's something that I learned from the football industry. I have a close relative who's a football agent. I used to play football. And part of the training or the qualification of being an agent is that you have to teach or be able to manage money and investments and all that kind of stuff. We don't have that in the music industry, or we don't have it enough. And actually it's really important, because that lump sum, that 100 grand, that 300 grand, whatever the deal is, that might be the last advance that you'll ever get. And if you've not been taught how to make that work, you know, it's over. Like you do, you've had that big advance, it's gone, you spent it all, and there's nothing now. So actually putting a lion's share of it away and seeing that earn money for you in the crypto market.
Not in the crypto market.
No,
that's
in
not
the crypto, we're going to agree to disagree.
There's going to be arguments.
Tangible, man.
Property.
It knows about women.
Property.
I've been in crypto since it was £30, you know.
Property.
No, I'm not talking about Bitcoin. I'm talking about the crypto markets, where if you put it in the bank, it's going to earn less than 1%.
Literally, I'm just about to put money in.
In
like,
crypto, I can see on a daily basis 5-10% per day, easily, if you have the right people giving you the right advice.
In 60 days,
and then
you
you've
can
got to
double
move it
it
around, and then you make the investment.
But that's
on
what
the
you're
wrong
taught.
point.
It depends.
You can lose it all, bro. I've done it.
Well,
I've
that's
done
because
it.
you didn't have the right education.
Listen, no,
Right,
I've
stay
got.
away
I'm going to
from
have
crypto.
to
Stay away
agree to
from
disagree.
crypto. Property
Anyway.
is a really good thing.
We're talking.
But
Property, that's a
still
little bit
but
later on down the line.
It's also about
and
property. Whatever
Investments.
it is, you're putting it in and making your money work, rather than leaving it in the bank where it's doing nothing, and the bank are taking that
your
money and making it work,
Exactly.
and giving you nothing for
Bonds
it.
are very good. So I've got bonds. They give, like, I'm always winning, like £100 a month off my bonds, and it's just like, okay, cool, and it just gets reinvested back in. That's just one thing. But it was funny because when I started working as a train driver and I started earning a lot, and I would watch every single person that I started with, all bought new cars, all bought everything. I was safe in my Fiesta. I was like, as you were, because you're all stupid. Because what you're doing, your income's tripling, quadrupling, and your outgoings are done exactly the same. So you're in the same position. I bided my time. I saved. I bought my home for cash. I bought my car cash. So I've got no debts. I've got, and I learned very young, because my mum used to love a catalogue. And I remember getting this Adidas tracksuit when I was 18, and it was old school 3 stripes loved it. And it weren't like till a year later, and it was battered, and I was still paying for it. And I was like, this is not right. And I learned from things like that, right? And I was like, this is just wrong. So if you start earning double, it doesn't matter if you win something on the lottery. Don't go and spend it. Put it in a jar. My daughter's 3, and I'm going to start teaching her about money now. It's so important.
That's great. Okay, we've got just 5 minutes left. So I want to go into the intersections of working in the industry. So, of course, we've got different races here. We've got different genders. Let's start off with being a woman in the industry. Do you think that there are some hindrances, maybe inequalities in getting pay or opportunities, anything that you found navigating the music industry? Eve is like, well.
You did say there's only 5 minutes, right?
Yeah, no, we're going to be here all day. I should have done this question earlier.
That's why I started my campaign. It's massively just it's not just the music industry, everything's messed up. But there are a lot of people fighting for change. I have to be positive about it, because there are people that are fighting for change, men and women. I've always said very much we need each other to do this. It's hard. It's like, the same opportunities don't come, especially being a woman of colour. You see some women in the industry that, are white, and they're getting lots of opportunities, and you could see yourself as someone who has a lot of value to add and a lot to give and a lot, and you're just not getting the offers, or no one's connecting with you or collaborating with you, but everyone's collaborating with each other, and you're like, it makes you stop and think, is it my colour? Because I know I've got something to offer. I just think it's tougher for women. I think it's tougher for women of colour. But that shouldn't stop anyone from wanting to be in it, because, like I said, things are changing, things are moving, we're all coming together. Everyone should be an entrepreneur, unto themselves. And if you go out and add value and keep showing up, and the one thing people as well do is they think everyone should know their story, and people don't. Everyone's doing their own thing all the time. So we can fall victim to being a woman, and we can fall victim to being a woman of colour, but we have to flip that and say, do you know what? As a person, as a human being, this is what I've got to add, and use it to your advantage. Because I think once your mindset shifts with that, you start giving off a different energy, and opportunities will start coming your way as well. So yes, it's hard being a woman, and I think we are still very, very much the minority, but we are changing things. And go on. And she's like,
no, I just also want to point. No, I'm not really into. I mean, there's a lot of women who talk this talk, but they don't walk it. So I feel like a lot of women have almost developed that's their personality trait now. I help women, but they don't.
Exactly.
I'll be really honest.
That's why I just said what I said.
They're still haters. Women are still haters.
But that's why I just said what I said. It's like kind of pull up.
When I hear a lot of this, women, it's just like, you're full of shit. Not you, but
no.
A lot of people have adopted that to make themselves.
But that's what I said. They kind of
to validate themselves within the industry, because it's a great thing to jump on right now.
Yes.
So that's just a side note. It is difficult being a woman. It's difficult being a woman of colour. I've heard all kinds of stuff, whether it's I've seen girls get hit on when I was younger in music, pervy men, then it's the whole colour issue. I've been told, oh, you're a packy, what do you know about hip-hop? All kinds. Someone said to me, do you know how to style white people? Your page is really black. Maybe you should put more white people on it.
Everyone's going to have an issue about something, aren't they?
You can't please everyone, so But
it's true. What you're saying about women, that's what I was saying. Other people seem to just stick together and do things to tick boxes. I'm like, for example, you're running a company that's supposed to promote women, and now all of a sudden you're doing LGBTQIA stuff, and now all of a sudden you're doing production. But are any of you producers? And then you got someone who is a gay woman who is a producer doing the thing, and it's like, because you're not getting the same opportunities, they're being seen to be. But do you just sit there and be?
But equally,
I'm
also very conscious of sometimes it feels
you just got to crack
very. Divisive as well. I don't like to then say, oh, men should be out of the conversation, because I think it's really important for them to be part of the conversation, and they also have their own issues. So
When you said issues,
not
we don't have time to go deeper into it.
Why are you starting with me? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you want to? No, I was going to say, I could talk for ages about this, honestly. I don't know why you left out for the 5 minutes.
This should have been the first one.
I should have jumped straight in. I'm so sorry.
So one of the things in Black Lives in Music is that we produce reports on the lived experience of black people in the music industry. It's never been done before, and we produced this report. And what the data showed us is that black women were at the most disadvantaged in the industry. We weren't expecting to see it. I knew it because I lived it, but honestly, we were let's just do this, and it was just so prominent in terms of areas of pay, mental health, social interactions in terms of bullying, harassment, the whole shebang, especially racism as well. So we put out that data. We put it out, we shared it and said, black women, and it went viral. It was national TV, everything. So you got all of these, women, female empowerment groups out there. Yeah. There's only a few allies though, and I will shout them. There's been a bullying and harassment movement happening in the music industry And we have had certain organisations reach out to us to say, what's happened with black women? Those organisations such as Featured Artists Coalition and Musicians Union, those are the ones that reached out to us and said, you know what, we want to back you guys. Everybody else, when it came to black women, weren't interested. So when we're talking about devices, when it's a black movement, I'm sorry, I can go in, you know.
Yeah,
no, good.
I can go in. When it's a black movement, sorry if anybody here is of any other colour, I'm just talking about us because this is where we're at in the industry. It's not to make you feel bad. So if you're another colour or you identify as something else, don't feel no way. It's just this issue when we're talking about.
The reality of...
Yeah? Right? When it's a black issue, when it's a black report, everyone want to jump on the movement, the Black Lives Matter. But what happens immediately afterwards? Our movements get hijacked. So we're made to feel small and we're made to feel quiet. The feminist movement always happened after the civil rights movement, always. And it trumps what we're doing. It trumps our sound. It trumps our voice. And I'm tired of it, man. You can see I'm tired of it. So I'm just saying that. It's not to be divisive. My girl, it's not to be divisive, Nisha. It's just the reality of what we go through every day, and it's exhausting.
It is exhausting. It is, but what I will say to you is, hold on.
No, I'm not going nowhere.
You know what I mean? Because hearing you, it's just like, you sound like, when you're just going on and on about change, and it's so obvious what needs to be done, and you're like, why is it so hard when something is just so plain? You know what I mean? It's like, it's just so simple, the changes that need to happen, and it's like, it's taking so long for these things to get to where they should naturally have been hundreds of years. Like, it's just like, come on.
Sorry to cut you guys. Sorry to cut you.
Sorry
Sorry to
to
cut you.
cut
This
you.
is a crucial time, you know. Crucial time, you know. Crucial time. I know. Sorry to cut you guys, but you know we have to stay on time schedule.
So
I just sorry to cut you.
I just
Lives
want
matter,
to
man.
make one point to put this.
Make it very quick, please, Ad.
Lives matter.
During the pandemic, there was a white celebrity who pointed out to black people, whilst you're fighting for equality, they are owning the equity. And our biggest mistake is that we fight for equality too much. When I heard that, I said, I'm done. I'm focusing on equity. And I can't have equity in the UK. It's not possible. I'm going home and I'm focusing home. And that's what we need to understand, that that equality is a myth. Equity, it's tangible. Let's focus on equity.
Thank you, Adi.
Then you can do what you want to do.
Thank you, Adi. I had to. I'm sorry.
I love
I'm the bad
bomb.
guy. I'm sorry.
It's all right, we get him after, don't worry.
Yeah, I want another bomb.
All right, cool. I don't think we have... Should we go to questions? Yeah, we'll go to questions.
Yeah.
All right. If you have any questions, then please come to this side of the stage.
Come and see Nay.
Yeah, we do have about just over 5 minutes, so we can take maybe about 3 questions. Just come to the front. Maybe you'll have to go to the back and around. Yes, just so you don't interfere with the equipment here.
Sorry.
While we're doing this, can you all give us your social media platforms so that people can find you?
I'm on Addition Global, all one words, on IG.
Okay, cool. Nisha?
Nisha Badass. NeeshaBadass.
Sharice?
Black Lives in Music, at Black Lives in Music.
At 22 Agency, all in words, like on the screen.
At The Voice Coach UK and at Groove Up app.
I'm at Eve_Horn or at Peak Music UK or We Are the Unheard.
Okay, great. First question. What's your name? What's your question?
My name's Amit. Great
Hello.
talk, guys. I work with a few PR companies, music PR companies. I've got a tech platform launching. Well, it's supposed to launch in June, but it's the dev, all of that stuff has been delayed till December. I wanted to ask that yourself and Hadi, you mentioned that you had a funding round. So I just wanted to hear a bit more about that. I'm not close to music myself in terms of a vertical, but it would be good to know.
Sure. So I got funding from the Arts Council. I applied in April, and it got awarded in June. I didn't think I was going to get it at all. I just, I had a vision that I believed in, and I applied. I had to actually get support for the application because I needed like assistance with filling it in. That's a neurodiverse thing that I'll happily talk to anyone about outside of this. But I got some support filling it in, and yeah, it was successful. So I'm hoping to launch. I got the full amount as well.
Yeah, is that at pre-seed or like seed level?
So you guys are talking two different languages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's talking about like funding.
I'm talking about government funding.
Okay,
yeah,
so obviously, government funding is obviously a bit different.
So you're talking like private funding.
Yeah. Okay, so you obviously got
things.
incentive from the government.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's government.
I thought when you said funding, it was like Series A, Series B, that kind of stuff to get your idea into fruition.
That's investment.
Yeah.
They're very, very different things. Is it? Oh, I just call it investment.
I also think like with tech and with music industry, like they are kind of, the opportunities are quite despair. Like with tech, I think you can get more private investments and things like that. In the music industry.
Actually, I wanted to just chime in on that. So there's an organisation called Fuga. They provide all the tech behind Spotify, behind Apple, behind all of the record labels. I'm unsure because you haven't said what your app is about. But right now,
it's exactly that. So it's a platform that connects brands with content creators. So like my use cases are Spotify and whatnot. Yeah.
So it's an app.
It's an app. Yeah.
So they are offering funding for new entrepreneurs who are in the tech space. And music space. So if you look up Fuga, Fuga.
Okay.
And I think they've paired up with Music Ally. I've got a feeling it's the wrong organisation.
Sorry, can we keep the conversation to a minimum?
I think
we can hear you up here.
It's Music Ally. Check out what they've got going on because I know I just spoke with them last week and they really want to push this and they're looking for new entrepreneurs to build, to invest in their apps that support the music industry.
Yeah.
Okay,
all right,
great.
thank you.
Thank
They got
you.
Marky Jones.
Actually,
that's my guy over there.
There's one more.
Virgin as well.
So MeWe 360, they do pre-seed, seeds, all the way through to Series B funding as well. So yeah, it might be worth sending them a pitch deck as well.
Yeah. All right, sweet, my guy.
Yeah.
Amazing, though.
He's got that voice where he sounds like he could be an artist.
What's your name and what's your question?
Hi, I'm Aldia. First of all, I just want to say thank you because all the stuff, all the gems that you guys have been saying is so inspiring. And I feel like I really needed to hear a lot of that today. So thank you. I'm a singer, songwriter and presenter, and I'm currently studying music production and sound engineering. So you guys spoke about how important a council is. And I'm at the point in my career where I kind of know my brand. I know the product that I am. But I'm kind of trying to find those people who will help me bring it to life. What advice would you give when you're kind of at the start, so you don't have this huge budget, but you're looking for those people who will believe in you and kind of stay with you for this journey? How do you find those people?
Do you know what? This is not a cop-out answer, but so many times those people are literally in your life already.
I was just going to...
Especially if you're starting out, you're a new artist. A lot of the time, you should find your manager within your friendship group, within your family, because actually they will have your back for real because they actually have love for you and they know you as a person. So I'd always advise someone to look at their personal circle first, and then as you grow, you might end up coming across someone on your journey. You might just click with them and get it. But I don't think it's not as easy to go about and look for a manager because then, do you know what I mean? There's no real connection.
And if you're at university, are you still studying?
I am, yeah.
University. There's hundreds of people that you'll find there. You just got to say like, what is it that I need, and consciously look for those people that might have those skills, and just have a conversation.
Yeah, like when I first started styling, and I had to like build my portfolio. So obviously, I couldn't get like big names, but there's loads of people who all want experience like you, and obviously it does take time to weed out the good from the bad, but that's part of the learning experience.
And your counsel can look different as well. They don't necessarily have to be a part of the music industry or in music. You might have an uncle that's an accountant. You might have an auntie or a cousin who's a stylist, or so it can look different. If you've got a business person within your family, there's 100% you're going to learn from them. So look around at what the council could possibly look like within your own space.
Yeah, and just going off again the council thing. Once you've got the music ready, and you've showed your council, your circle that you trust, and getting the right feedback, you can go to the Music Managers Forum. So what we do have is that they send us a link of like unsigned artists who are looking for management and representation. So you can hit the MMF up, and then they can show your music amongst network of managers in the UK.
Okay,
That's great. Thank you so much.
Okay, we only have time for one more question, unfortunately. Oh, sorry, I just saw the queue.
Yeah, there's a mad queue.
But
Look,
like, we will have time for networking at the end, so make sure to grab these guys and chat to them. Oh, okay. It's just you. It just looks like people there. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Sarush. Just wanted to ask in terms of creativity, because it seems to me like all the big music or top music, it seems to be kind of similar. They seem to be following a formula, and you guys talk about thinking outside the box. And especially when you're starting, I want to know if you recommend kind of taking a creative approach, or is it better just to kind of learn the formula, and then from there, once you kind of make a name for yourself, then you can kind of bring the creativity side into it. Because it seems to me like, especially with the record labels, they want to go for the safe choice, the thing that makes them the money, and so yeah, just wanted to know what you think, really.
I think that you have to be passionate about what it is that you're doing. You have to believe in that 1,000,000%. Yeah? Then you have to then study like the terrain, how it works and what pitfalls there are and all that kind of stuff. And then build your strategy, your movement according to that. There's this ideology that comes from Sun Tzu, The Art of War, that is surround your enemies, leaving them no room for escape. And essentially what that means is you build your project as perfect as possible, so that when people come, or when you present it to somebody, you make it almost impossible for them to say no. And that's the mindset you should have. Make your thing that powerful that it makes it difficult for people to say no. Whereas if you go trying to fit into people's ideologies and all that kind of stuff, they'll rip you, they'll pull you down. You'll think that your own idea was stupid because other people don't have the same vision. You yourself are unique unto yourself. Your mindset is unique unto itself. Nobody else will think like you until you can present it in front of people. They won't believe it.
Thank you.
Very lastly, you mentioned about going to a record label. Release it yourself. Don't be caught up on needing to go to someone. Do you really good? If you need to go and see what snares they're using in a hip hop track, research all of that stuff, but then do it your way and release it yourself.
Great, thank you. Last one, make it quick.
Very last one. Question for Tasha, Charisse, and Nisha. Have any of you worked on a DC4 or DC5 activation? Would you be interested in doing one? I'm a rapper and a fashion designer, and I feel like you three together would be like the ideal team to do such
like
a thing.
Dragon's Den.
So just forget your own businesses,
I just
join
realised
together
that
and work on
I'm not
him.
going to see you guys here at the same time at the same place, so I thought, let me just
What's
throw
a
it there.
DC4? What's a DC5? Can you explain? Could you explain what that is?
Yeah, can you explain what it is?
DC5 or DC4 activation is a term in fashion in regards to, I guess, target demographic in regards to like where the clothing brand is. Okay. So a DC4 would be like JD, and a DC5 would be like a Selfridges. That's the activation. Yeah.
I'm lost.
Yeah, I'd like to know more, but I think I need
Okay,
to
cool,
I think speak to them directly.
Come and have a chat with
Yeah,
us.
yeah, no problem.
Okay,
Cool.
great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Round of applause for our panelists, everyone. Longers, I will throw it back to you.